I would like to speak to you this afternoon on the first reading, the Psalm reading, and in particular Psalm 11, verse 3. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? And the theme is God was there. Now, last week was the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Many people all over the world gathered to reflect on that very dark day when the unimaginable happened and the world changed forever. It was interesting that History Channel screened a documentary titled The 102 Minutes That Changed America. Maybe they could have titled it The 102 Minutes That Changed the World. Well, I still remember very clearly where I was the day when it happened. I remember that I was on my way back home from my office when I heard on the news that an airplane had crashed into the One World Trade Center tower. At home, I immediately turned on the television just in time to be stunned by the second plane hitting the second tower. A few years later, I visited New York. And for me, it was one of the most memorable journeys I've ever made. It was a time in my life when I sensed that big changes were about to happen. And it was as if God was urging me to go there. It was as if God had a special appointment with me in New York. In New York, it was a chilly Tuesday morning in spring when I took the bus heading for Ground Zero. The area where the towers once proudly rose into the sky was clear. There was just cement, and they cleared up the rubble already. A steel fence was erected to keep the public at bay, and a strange silence dominated the atmosphere. It was as if I was entering a church. It was sacred ground. The tourists, looking at the names and whatever was left, spoke quietly as if they were in church, as if they were on holy ground. I looked at the tablets of the names of those who had died. I walked around trying to imagine what it must have been for the people in that area on that fateful day. As I was walking, I felt the presence of God in a very real way. I thought of Moses at the burning bush. It was holy ground. It was God talking ground. So I was listening. And then suddenly, without prior warning, in front of me, I saw this cross. A steel beam that was found in the rubble by a firefighter 2 days after the attack. I was stunned. There and then, the words of this psalm came alive. And for the first time, I really understood Psalm 11. In front of me was the cross that became known as the 9/11 cross. I want to play you a video clip of this cross. Let's watch it. Since that day, that cross became a sign of hope. And regarded by Jew and Christian, because the mayor of New York was a Jew, the cross became a sign of God's healing, a sign that God was there. The writer of the 11th Psalm finds himself probably in one of the most severe storms of his life. We don't know the real Sitz in Leben or the real exact condition or situation where this happened in Psalm 11, but what we do know is this, that his foundations were shaken. Somehow in the psalmist's life, everything that was secure, everything that was for him a matter of my foundation that he can stand upon, that was shaken. And maybe you've been there. That part of your life where all the securities, the things that you build your life with,